On today's show, I think Cooper Flagg has a chance to be a breakout candidate for the Mavericks. Let me explain, and we'll tell you who else is a breakout candidate for the Mavs on today's Locked On Mavs. Stop it! Stop! The number one pick will go to the Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flagg will fly in Dallas.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave.
Your team every day.
I'm gonna get a city like that.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for 10 years. Thanks for being in every day or making Locked On Mavs your first listen each and every day, all through the offseason. We're deep in NBA August, and we're still here, baby, talking about the Dallas Mavericks. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is around the corner. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets. And pay attention to the Cowboys until you get sick of them, and then you come right back here.
What about that preseason game against the Ravens, baby?
Joining me, as always, my co-host, media member coming back for 10 years, right alongside me, the Baltimore Raven reject, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
All right, I hooped a little bit tonight, and I went and had a good hoop session in my Sabrina's one. It's the best basketball shoes I've played. I mean, I've had this pair for a while, and I just, nothing compares to it right now for me.
Until the Paige Beckers 1 comes out.
Oh, is she Nike? Will
No
she
clue.
be
I don't know. I should know that, but I don't.
I had a first moment tonight. First time in a long time, though. I've reached this, and we're in our 30s, and guarding someone on the perimeter, they did a kind of a sidestep step back and started to drive, but then step back, and my left knee got a little wobbly.
Oh.
And which is fine. No, it wasn't hurt, but it was like one of those I've reached this age. Like, this hasn't happened before, to where I'm like, I used to see this when I was younger and be like, dude, how did your legs collapse for someone like that? And then it started to happen, and I caught myself, and a couple dudes like, oh, and luckily he missed the shot. But still, I was just like, wow, I'm reaching this age. I need to put in some more work.
So before you yell at Dwight Powell out there.
Exactly.
Also, it's not okay because you're about to go to Disney World with your family in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think this is like,
dude, if you messed up your knee, if you did what Slightly did, you'd be screwed.
Don't speak this on me. Now I'm not going to play any basketball until then.
Good. I want to scare you to wrap those in bubble wrap. Paige is Nike, by the way.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Swoosh life.
Today's episode, we're going to talk about breakout candidates. Paige Becker is definitely a breakout star in the WNBA. We're going to talk about breakout candidates for the Dallas Mavericks. Who is going to break out to take a step forward? It's not a leap. It's a breakout. It's different. It's a difference right there. We'll also talk about bust candidates. Who could be a bust? There's a lot of NFL shows right now doing this breakout and bust. Different shows. Then we'll talk about players in the West we think could break out and get into all that. But let's start here, Isaac Harris. A breakout candidate to me is somebody that takes a step forward in some way. Somebody that elevates their status across the league and to people around the NBA, casual fans, all that. And I think Cooper Flagg is a candidate here because, one, I'm going to talk about him every single day until the NBA season and then through the NBA season and all that. But two, I think being a college name and being this highly touted prospect in college is one thing, and being as popular as he is one thing. We've seen these players come through before, though. We've seen go back to Adam Morrison, a player that was super popular in college.
Why are you comparing those two?
He was. They're both sneaky athletic. They're both gym rats, like coaches. No, but he's just a high profile player that everybody knew, and you're like, okay, well, what's this? His profile's at a certain point, the expectations are at a certain point, and then all of a sudden he gets to the league, and you go, oh, I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if this is gonna work, and then all of a sudden he drops off the face of the earth in the public's perception. And I think Cooper Flagg could be a breakout candidate because he's gonna go from a college name to a household NBA name and go, oh, he belongs in here, like Kevin Durant, where Kevin Durant was pretty well known because he had a great year. Anthony Davis was at Kentucky and had a great year, and then came to the Pelicans and was awesome. And you go, oh, okay, so this is for real. This is great. And I think Cooper Flagg can be a breakout candidate in that way.
I'm with you, and clearly the NBA thinks the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
they put him on Christmas Day, and we talked about that the other day. So, I think, Cooper's one of the most hyped up, number one overall draft picks in, the last like 10 years. I mean, you look at a guy like, Wemby, you look at some of these past number one picks, he has
We did the draft and there was not a ton of names. Like you start going through and you're like, oh, this is like not a deep list.
But I also took Cooper, and I clearly came in third, and I got roasted for that. But no, I'm with you on that. And once again, I feel like we're a broken record when we say this. It's going to look different, right? Like a breakout for Cooper Flagg is not going to be the same when you look at a typical rookie and you say, oh man, this rookie, man, he's breaking out right now and he's averaging 27 a game. That's not going to be how it looks for Cooper Flagg. He's going to be a breakout candidate type of guy because of both sides of the floor, because he's, having these highlight floors. I think the thing that will help the perception or the narrative around him being a breakout guy is I think he's going to have the highlight plays. He's going to have the massive blocks, the lockdown on defense at times, the just absolute poster on somebody. He's going to have those. The
new thing is the edits. He's gonna have edits where it's a video where it's like quick clips, like quick highlight clips. It's like, a 1 minute or 30-second video of just like it's set to some song and it's just like boom, like over and over again, and you just see block, 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 dunk, dunk.
It's gonna be awesome.
It's like the intro to an NBA game where they play that quick highlight package and it's just like super hype, but they get posted all the time now, and there's so many of them.
Yeah,
especially if you're 6'7".
The layup line, he's gonna put on some shows in that, so that's gonna be fun for fans and all that. But I'm with you. Yeah, Cooper Flagg breakout.
He threw down a reverse windmill in layup lines in summer league, just like casually, and I was like, oh, he's not. Like, he has fun with that stuff, which I think is fun too.
He's going to be a fun guy for people to talk to or talk about because the discourse around him. Because I think the NBA nerds are going to love him. The analytic guys are going to love him, and the people who are like really hardcore into basketball. But then it's going to be the casuals that are like, dude, is he that good? Because he could average, like, let's say the first few months of the season, he's averaging like 13 points a game or 15 points a game, but he's really efficient on the floor and he's playing awesome defense and all this stuff. And some people are going to be like, I don't know about this guy, but the nerds are going to be like, yes, he's it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. He's a breakout candidate for sure. Give me another one of yours.
Top of my list, Derek Lively.
Let's go.
I think people are sleeping on this guy. I think national people are sleeping on this guy, how good he was his rookie season. I went back. He has had some injuries, but I'm kind of like working around this take of, is the injuries a little bit overhyped that now we've clearly put the label on him as he's injury prone. And he had that injury last year and stuff that really hurt him. And then the story, with all the training staff and everything around his injury and all this stuff. But I did go back and look at his injuries. He has had a decent amount of like little injuries here and there, but he was so dang good his rookie season that helped him get to the NBA finals. I mean, this is when we had the Lively Gafford conversation at times that they couldn't take Lively off the floor. I mean, I remember we were joking and stuff because that was the season I worked for the Mavs. We were joking and stuff in the offices about like, hey, is Lively like the most indispensable player right now? Like we can't take him off the floor. This is a rookie guy. And I just think that I think he's going to come out and be healthy. I think you're going to see the two-way, I get it that he doesn't have Luka throwing lobs and all the stuff and running the pick and roll and stuff. I get that. But I think he's better than just like a lob, than a rim roller. I think he's got more to his game. I think he's going to complement AD and all of that. And hopefully we get an outside shot at some point, but I'm not banking on it. It's more of seeing a healthy Lively on the floor. I think it's going to remind some people of how good he was his rookie season and how good he can be moving forward.
You want him as a decision maker in the offense. You want him to catch the ball in the short roll and it's maybe not going to be on as many double teams, but Anthony Davis is going to require some double teams, right? Teams are going to double team D'Angelo Russell because the scouting report on the Mavericks is going to be they don't have enough decision makers. They don't have enough playmakers. That's what we've been saying all offseason. And teams are going to double team the one ball handler, quote unquote, and the ball's going to get put in Lively's hands. And I think that is a good thing. He's absolutely one. Slightly and I talked about him on Friday. or on Thursday as somebody that could be a break. It could take a leap into the next level. And you talked about his offense a little bit. His defense. If he takes a leap and breaks out, he can become one of the like premier defensive names in the league.
Perimeter defense. I think that was something in his rookie year that we looked at and say, hey, that's the next level for him. And I feel like he was starting to get there. Like, okay, he's moving better on the perimeter and stuff. So I'm excited for. Yeah, and I think obviously everything's around Cooper Flagg and the young, stud that Cooper Flagg will be moving forward. But imagine, and we're talking about Anthony Davis. Will he be healthy? When does Kyrie come back? Is Klay going to bounce back? What's BJ? What's the D'Angelo Russell signing? And I feel like he's kind of getting forgotten a little bit about how good he can be. To where imagine if he comes out and just really does have a breakout season. Then you're looking at this roster with national people will look at the roster and say, man, they got two young cornerstone pieces that they're going to be building around. That's going to be the front court of the future, whenever that future is.
They get put in these lists of like the best young core, and it's just two. Somebody will say, just off of these two guys, they have the best young core, right? Like, that would be awesome. And I'm excited for Derek Lively. They posted, so Dallas Mavericks Social posted a video of him working out, running on the treadmill, doing some work, and I'm just getting hyped for him. Like,
give us that content.
Let's go. Yes. Becca. Keep it going. keep it going. Coming up, we're going to keep it going. I got a couple more names that could break out. And then, who's going to bust? Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by FanDuel. That was for the people that stick around. FanDuel is there. August 26th is coming up. It's officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1, if it's the Cowboys, I just seek help. Like seek your local Cowboys fan and talk to them. This is your moment right now. Go to FanDuel Sportsbook, see what is available for you, and see what kind of futures you can get to make the playoffs. We'll just go with the Cowboys to make the playoffs. Plus 190. Just like not crazy, actually. Just kind of wild. They're all kind of low, though. Seattle is plus 180. Bears plus 180. Jacksonville Jaguars plus 172. Maybe that tells you where the Cowboys. Go check out all the things on FanDuel. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. That day is August 26th. FanDuel, play your game. Please gamble responsibly.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad. That's what we call our listeners, listening every single day. And if you are listening to this show, or if you're listening to the show, actually, you're listening to the show if you can hear my voice. We have a Mavs fan survey. We're doing a fan survey. It's 25 questions. It asks you about your opinions on what you think the Mavericks are. Cooper Flagg, Luka versus Cooper Flagg, maybe a little bit in there. Stuff about ownership, stuff about Nico, stuff about just the roster and the team. There's a link in the description wherever you're listening, watching this. We'll also post it at Locked On Mavs on all of our socials everywhere. Isaac and I'll be posting it. We'll be talking about this, and we're gonna do a week of just like talking through all these answers, and so it'll be good stuff there.
We want as many Mavs fans to fill this out.
Yes,
I know last time we did a survey, it was just listener based on how we can make the show better for you. This is more like, hey, we want to know where the fan base is at. So share the link with other Mavs fans. We're going to be pushing it out, and yeah, we want a big capture of how the fan base is feeling. Yep.
So check that link in the description wherever you're listening, watching this, or on socials at Locked On Mavs. And yeah, let us know what you think. All right, Isaac, we're talking about breakout candidates. We talked about Cooper Flagg, talked about Derek Lively, the Mavs front court of the future right there. Who's another name you think could break out?
Oh, crap. We're doing breakouts. I was ready to do the bust.
I think Brandon Williams could be a breakout candidate.
Uh-oh.
Because
let's go, B-Will.
Because breakout can mean a whole bunch of different things. And I think Brandon Williams had a little breakout moment last year where 2 years ago I would have said, yeah, I don't think he's ready for the NBA. He looked too small. Didn't look like his, decision making was there. The speed, he wasn't like he couldn't keep up with, like he was too fast for what he was able to do in the NBA at that point. And you're like, he's just not using his speed well enough. And then last year you saw the Mavs had this giant demand for a ball handler, scorer type guy, and Brandon Williams did step up, and he had some great moments where you just go, who is that? Like, who is that guy? You know what I mean? Like, you'd have Mavs fans that would watch games and be like, who is this guy? Like, where did he come from? Because he looks so different and looks like he stands out among everybody else on the court that felt like they were moving in slow motion. And so I think Brandon Williams could break out from, like fringe rotation player to becoming a rotation player, because the Mavs do have a need. He could break out and like rise above the Dante Exum, the Caleb Martin, the like other guards that the Mavs are going to have at that spot.
I don't know what to do with Brandon Williams. I think he's one of the few guys that brings creation and can get into the paint and keep the ball moving, play at a fast pace and all this stuff. Like I wish that he had like a defined role, especially with Kyrie out. But like you could tell me that Brandon Williams is the primary backup to D'Lo and plays a lot of minutes, or you could tell me he's not even in the rotation and it's like D'Lo, Exum, and they're just like, stuff like that. And he's just kind of like, hey, whenever they need just another body to throw in, I just don't know what to do with him. And it's hard for me to like predict what he could be next year.
Right. Yeah. He could go either way. I think Brandon Williams is my last one. That's like a real breakout candidate.
Yeah. Klay is a Hall of Famer already. I just think for me, Klay would be my next guy as far as like, I think when you look at the expectations for him next year, going into next year, I think he's going to play above those and have, I know he hasn't been in Dallas very long, his best season in Dallas. But I think
season of 2 is still.
I think he's going to have a good year, especially to start the year. But
you know what? He's going to put together a really good body of work this season.
Okay. God bless. For Bus is a little hard as far as like, we're going to you're like, hey, which Mavs player is not going to have a good year, all this stuff. I'm going with this one. I'm going with PJ only for the sake of, I think his role it's less about him and his talent and more about, I think his role could get awkward. We got to figure out what's going to happen with the extension and all this stuff. But ever since he came into Dallas, they trade for him and it's like, hey, Grant Williams didn't work out. We're going to try to, add a pick, bring PJ in. PJ steps in. He's a starter. He's playing the 4. He's played the 3 at times. He played really well. He's had these big moments, the stand on business, the Clippers and OKC and all this stuff. And then, and it's like the fan base loves him. He's playing the best, most efficient basketball of his career, in my opinion. And then Cooper Flagg happens. And it's like, all right, Cooper plays the exact same position for a team that is committed to the double big lineup in which the 4 spot is Anthony Davis that you traded your superstar for in Luka Doncic. So it's like, now it gets weird. It's a contract year if he doesn't sign an extension. This guy who is excelling, he's still in the best parts of his career, and now there is a case. We don't know yet. We don't know exactly. I think Klay starts and PJ comes off the bench, but it's like there's a case that PJ comes out. He goes from starting and potentially like, hey, if it is a contract year, making a ton of money next summer by being this like small ball 4, like hit threes and guard on the perimeter, all this stuff, to coming off the bench with like a weird type of role. And then they're asking him at times, like, are you going to play the 2? Are you playing the 3? Do you ever get to play the small ball 4 spot? So it's more for me about it just being an awkward role situation for PJ. I'm scared it could be that. And we don't get the same exact PJ we got a couple years ago because of that awkward role.
I didn't even think about PJ as a bust candidate because I think that he will close games. I think that this Mavs team will look at this roster and be like, we've just got to put Anthony Davis at the 5 to close games. We've just got to move him to the 5, bring PJ in. It's PJ, Flagg, Lively, or Anthony Davis, and that's the front court that they close games with. And so for that reason, my bust candidate is Daniel Gafford because I think that I think he gets forced out in the same way that you think PJ will get forced out or like put in an awkward situation. I think Gafford will get put in that situation. It's not about him. It's not even about him as a player. By the way, he got an incredible new tattoo. Have you seen this? You will have no reference to this.
What is it?
A Demon Slayer tattoo, which is this anime, and it's just absolutely awesome.
Did you see Daniel Gafford's new tattoo?
That's what I just said. Daniel Gafford.
Oh, I thought you said PJ. My bad.
No, Gafford's new tattoo is
Gafford got landlord on his fingers.
He did. Yeah. Oh yeah. He got landlord on his fingers, and then he got this Demon Slayer tattoo that is sick. And it's this moment. It's this moment where this high level like warrior person sacrifices everything for the safety of these like young guys that he was training and like bringing into this world. And you realize the power level of these high level villains basically in this moment in this anime.
You're such a nerd
in Demon Slayer, and I think Gafford may have to sacrifice himself for what the Mavericks will really look like, because
he's the Demon Slayer.
AD, Cooper, Flagg, PJ Washington. I think that's your lineup you close games with, and so I think that forces Gafford in an awkward situation. And his contract is tradable for a reason, right? Like,
yeah.
One of the reasons why they signed it. I'm high on Gafford working well with Anthony Davis, working well with this team and all that. But I think the role could be an issue there.
Yeah, no, I hear that. A small option I had was Max Christie. Just how he ended the season, I wasn't in love with it. Just some of his game compared to when after the trade started, we got like our hopes up and stuff. I'm hoping this offseason was really well, like went really well for him, and they need him to be that like point of attack defender guy. And there's a world in which this 22-year-old that could be like a piece for your team moving forward gets beat out by like Caleb Martin and Naji Marshall and stuff from the bench. And then we're looking at it like, is Max ever going to like play?
Yeah.
And all that.
Same thing with Brandon, like same story we just talked about with Brandon Williams could happen to Max Christie too, where we don't know who kid really wants to play at that next.
I hope
spot.
not. I hope Max has a role.
I hope it's Max Christie, but it could be Caleb Martin, because I think he's defensively better than what Max Christie is right now. Coming up, let's talk about some other breakout candidates or bust candidates for the Mavericks, and then the West. There are some prime candidates to really have a breakout season in the West, and we'll talk about them coming up. All right, Isaac, everybody, don't forget to fill out the fan survey. If you're a Mavericks fan, send it to your Mavericks fan friends. If you got a group chat where it's like a bunch of Mavericks fans and you talk about stuff, send it to them, fill it out, and give us some answers. And we'll be talking about it all next week and week after. And so do that. All right, Isaac. We talked about some bust candidates for the Mavericks. I didn't include injuries in any of this, in any of the bust potential. But Anthony Davis, Kyrie.
That's why I didn't touch. Yeah, I didn't touch AD in this.
Lively played 35 games, 55 games a year before that. Like Caleb Martin had his injuries when he came over from the Mavericks that the Mavs got another pick for because they weren't disclosed by the Sixers. Like, Gafford missed time last year. Like, I feel like everybody missed time last year except Klay and Naji.
Klay coming through, baby.
But like, I didn't include injuries in that, and so I just wanted to clarify that for anybody that's like, well, why don't you talk about Anthony Davis could be a bust? It would only be because of injuries to me for AD.
Yeah, I didn't touch it either way, because if he's playing and he's healthy, he's going to be amazing. And it's like, how do I judge a breakout thing for Anthony Davis? I think he's going to have a monster season if he's healthy. So but he's had that before. So
the breakout with AD could be with Mavs fans specifically, where they go, oh, this guy he is like that. Like he is a top 10 player in the NBA or even higher than that. I think I had him 10th in our Locked On Top 100.
I think I did too, 9 or 10. I want him to be. There's so many reasons why I want him to have a monster season, and of course, selfishly as a fan and content and all this stuff, but also for him, like it'd be such a bummer for him that is, if he has another injury riddled season, he's going to get flamed by this fan base, and it's not his fault, and because he was the return of Luka, and it's like. I would hate it so much for him if he had one of those types of seasons. I want him to have a big monster season for everybody, but for him, in his career.
This is completely left turn from what we were going to talk about, but but I think this is important. Do you think he got enough credit for putting it on the line last year?
No,
because I feel like he was hurt. He was dealing with those injuries. He came back a little early for the Rockets game. He was dealing with that eye injury that we learned was was reportedly a detached retina. It wasn't fully detached. He would have been blind, but some kind of eye issue too that he was dealing with. And like he went out and put it on the line and played through those injuries. And I don't think he got like a single ounce of credit from Mavericks fans.
No, because it was all about like, look at the Nico and them are trying to save face. They're making him play and all this stuff. Like no one talked about how the Lakers gave up on AD. Like, you know, I don't care how much friends he has over there with Rich Paul and LeBron and them. Like they still agreed to say like bye. So, you know, it wasn't ideal. So he gets this new home who obviously believes in him enough to trade a Luka Doncic. And, you know, if he ever wants to prove a guy right, it's proving Nico Harrison right for Anthony Davis. You know, he would love to prove Nico right. I mean, they've been friends for a long time and just all the stuff. So, and a new fan base. And yeah, I hope he has a monster season.
I know, like first team all defense, which is easier now because it's positionless, and so he could easily make it.
Yeah, second team all NBA, like stuff like that. I mean, Mavs top 4 or 5 seed, and yeah, he's back to in those conversations of top 6, 7 player.
And we're just talking about how great the Mavs front court is. Oh man, I still just every time I look at the Mavs roster and look at their depth chart, I just go, man, I don't know about these guards really being that good through the regular season.
The creation part is the biggest concern. And for people who are down on the Mavs, even in Mavs media sphere and stuff, like even talking with, Bobby, a deal of less, I'm not saying he's like down on, but I was giving him heck the other day because he picked the under for Mavs next season. But he has the same concerns as, anybody who talks about the Mavs have the same type of concerns. It's just a matter of, and the concern is like the creation and do they have enough of that creation and playmaking right now without Kyrie for this good chunk of the season. And for some people, it's a bigger concern. Some people are like, believe in D'Lo a little bit. Me, I believe in a little bit, probably more than in D'Lo and what he could be this season. So that's going to be the telling case. Outside of injuries, you can say health and injuries all day. Outside of injury, it's going to come down to, do they have enough creation and playmaking to stay afloat until Kyrie comes back?
It's weird because you look at this rotation. One of the questions on the survey is, do you think this roster is basically like well constructed or deeply flawed or just fine? And I'm really curious to see what Mavs fans think about that, because on one hand, you look at it and you go, okay, they have these clear, obvious strengths. Defensively, they're going to be a monster team. They've got this star power with Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg. They've got, clear skills that like everybody in their rotation clearly has a skill. Naji with his floater, Max Christie with his 3-point shooting and his perimeter defense, D'Angelo Russell with his pick and roll play with shooting, like all that kind of Gafford post play, blocks, all that. Everybody's a clear skill, but to maximize their clear strength, which is defense, you've got to play Caleb Martin. Probably you've got to play you've got to play Anthony Davis at the 4. You've got to play Naji probably, but then to do that on the other end, you're really lacking in creation and offense. To like try and make your offense good enough, you cut the teeth of your defense because you play D'Angelo Russell, who's maybe the worst defender on this roster right now, because that's how this roster is so good defensively. And maybe Klay Thompson, who is solid defensively, but is going to be 36, 37, right? And so you're like, all right, they may have this back and forth where the roster, you've just got to make these choices. Their offense defense substitutions at the end of games could be wild. Like three players could switch.
It's like, what is? Yeah. So I think we're going to come down to, once we get like a few months into the season, we're going to come down to the decision Dallas made in the offseason of, do we go the cheap route for the Kyrie replacement, or do we actually give up assets? And the Mavericks obviously believed in D'Angelo Russell enough to keep the assets, we'll just make it super simple here. Would you rather have D'Angelo Russell and Daniel Gafford, or like Kai Jones and Kobe White? And without and you don't own another first round pick. No. Because, let's just assume, which is a big assumption, you could have gotten Kobe White for Daniel Gafford, a first round pick, and some other smaller piece or something, Omax or something. And then it's just all right, did they make enough investment into that creation spot? Were they concerned enough to be willing to give up. I say Gafford a lot because that's giving Gafford the extension. We're kind of the third center on the team if you want to put AD and Lively 1 or 2, especially at the end of the games or something like that. So then it's like, would you rather have invested that money and that contract with a pick to go get a guy like a Kobe White, or even trying to get like a Colin Sexton or something like that costs a little bit more money, would take something. And they clearly didn't think that this issue was that big of a concern to give up assets for it. They probably got word early on that D'Lo was willing to come here for that, price. Still like a minimum type of contract, a little bit more than minimum. So
Are you suggesting that the Mavericks tampered?
Oh, no. They talked right when the clock hit 6 that day. That's when they first asked D'Lo about it.
In that D'Lo documentary, he mentioned that it was Dallas for the whole time.
I just think that decision
Even
right there
that.
is the decision that people will come back to. We'll come back to, right? If they're struggling, let's say they're really struggling and it's clear, it's like, man, they don't have anybody the offense is like rough. This is looking like Orlando last year. It's like you got these pieces, but they need people to set them up and stuff. We're going to go back to that decision and be like, yeah, they should have invested, given up some assets to get a little bit more, I don't know, a better player in that spot until Kyrie came back.
The insane part about that whole thing that you just said about this offense and the playmakers and all that, I think it legitimately swings on how good Cooper Flagg is offensively his first year.
I'm just not in the camp of I think it's really unfair to bank on Cooper Flagg being the second.
That's what they're doing.
I don't know, man.
That's what it's doing, because you got AD's doing his thing. D'Lo's going to do his thing, and it's going to be, it's going to take them up a level. Like if you need 100 playmaking, D'Lo takes you to 40, right? AD maybe takes you to 60. Where's the rest of that 40 coming from? And if Cooper Flagg is that guy, is really good early on, it'll fill that up to 100.
Okay, if you're presenting like that, where he's going to get the ball and say hey, go make some stuff happen, all that. I'm more of if you're in the camp of, hey, Cooper's going to be the secondary ball handler, backup point guard to D'Lo type of thing.
This is kind of what I just said.
No. I think there's difference of hey, they'll run the offense through D'Lo and AD, and then Cooper's going to be that third guy that they'll put the ball in his hands on the perimeter, on the wing, and say, hey, let's run something. I'm more concerned if it's hey, D'Lo's going to play off ball some possessions, and Cooper's bringing the ball up the floor and doing running the offense as a point guard type of guy at for a lot of possessions. That worries me. I'm not the biggest fan of that right now.
Or if they play all of a sudden play lineups where it's Naji, Max Christie, Cooper Flagg, PJ, Lively, and you go, Cooper is the only guy on this right now that you want handling the ball and driving and making plays like that.
I just think that's something that comes in year 2 or 3, something down the line a little bit, to say right now, Cooper Flagg, you're going to be playing we like to make you uncomfortable. I'm oh, okay, I get it. I get that to an extent.
That's what Jason Kidd said. His coach said that.
Yeah.
That will happen. His coach said that. We don't know many things about what Jason Kidd thinks about this roster. We do know that he's going to put the ball in his hands.
Let's also look at that first year Bucks team that Giannis had and see if they had a little bit more breathing room. What the expectations for that?
Well, so the first year Bucks team, for Giannis, Kidd didn't coach and they were awful. Second year Kidd comes in, puts the ball in Giannis' hands. They were a 500 team with this really young roster with Jabari Smith.
Jabari Parker, baby.
Jabari Parker, yeah. Sorry.
Him and Wiggins.
Fill out the Mavs fan survey. The link is in the description. We'll post it at Locked On Mavs everywhere on socials. Appreciate you guys for checking out the show. Thanks for sticking with us all the way through the end. Love that about you guys. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs. We'll be back tomorrow answering your questions.
Peace out.